On behalf of the faculty of the University of Michigan, welcome to this Honors Convocation. At this time, we ask that if you're able, would you please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 103rd Honors Convocation of the University of Michigan. I'm Lori McCauley, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thank you to Jemiah Hudson and Ethan Swanson, both seniors in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, for their lovely rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. As we begin, I want to recognize an important part of our history, a land transfer from the indigenous people of this area. The University of Michigan is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people. In 1817, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations made the largest single land transfer to the University of Michigan. This was offered ceremonially through the treaty at the foot of the rapids so that their children could be educated. Through these words of acknowledgement, their contemporary and ancestral ties to the land and their contributions to the university are renewed and reaffirmed. We're gathered today to celebrate the academic achievements of students on all three campuses of the university. We are also honoring faculty members whose dedication to undergraduate education is monumental. For 103 years, Honors Convocation has honored the achievements of these exceptional students and faculty. We do this in March because possibly the stability of tradition is a reassuring counterpoint to Michigan's unpredictable March weather. But I think we're fortunate today. It's also the time when we feel momentum beginning to build. We pay tribute to hard work done through the year that has led to the flourishing success of those in attendance today. The stage party includes academic leaders from the Flint, Dearborn, and Ann Arbor campuses, executive officers of the university, and deans of the schools and colleges whose students we honor today. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce today's student speaker, Michael Salibi, a Stephen M. Ross School of Business sophomore who's studying finance. Michael is a James B. Angel Scholar, a recipient of the William Brandstrom Prize, and he was named one of Arab America's 20 under 20. Please join me in welcoming Michael Salibi.
Provost McCulley, President Grasso, distinguished faculty, honored guests, and fellow students, it is a privilege to stand before you in Hill Auditorium, not only to recognize our academic achievement at the highest level, but also to reflect on the theme of this year's honors convocation. What does it mean to lead with humility on a ladder that constantly measures our value by how high we climb? For me, that question started years before I ever set foot in Ann Arbor, amid the 2019 Lebanese financial crisis. Practically overnight, my extended family's savings evaporated, and two of my cousins in Lebanon were on the verge of dropping out of school because tuition was suddenly out of reach. I was a teenager in Boston, 5,400 miles away, with no way to fix a collapsing banking system, but I could pick up extra shifts bagging groceries, tutor for the SAT, and build and sell custom computers on the side. Bit by bit, through many late nights and a lot of stress, that work helped cover their school fees. One of those cousins graduated high school with nearly a full scholarship to one of the best universities in Lebanon. The other is set to graduate high school this coming June. Through this experience, I realized that leadership is not always about having the grand solution. Sometimes it is quietly asking, what can I do with what I have for the people I care about? And letting that answer rearrange your priorities. Those years of work taught me that humility is not the opposite of ambition. It is the discipline of seeing your own success as inseparable from the futures of others. Humility for me sounded like this: I want this GPA, this award, this university acceptance, and I also want my cousins to stay in school. Then choosing to organize my time, resources, and energy to fit it all. It meant accepting that my role was not to be the hero who fixed Lebanon's economy, but to be a reliable cousin who showed up in all the small, unglamorous ways I could. Leading with humility begins when we stop asking, how high can I climb? And start asking, who can come with me and what might I need to give up so they can get there too? We sit here today as Angel Scholars, Brandstrom Prize winners, and University Honors students, distinctions that testify to our diligent work and hard-won achievement. Yet leading with humility means admitting that none of us got here alone. No impressive resume or polished LinkedIn profiles list the families that sacrificed, the mentors that shaped us, or the friends that walked us home from the ugly at 2 a.m. Just as my cousin's journey is deeply woven into my own, our stories are inextricably braided with those we support and those who support us, and with those who will follow us into the classrooms, clinics, courts, and companies we cannot yet see. So as we leave this hall and step through the many doors that an education at the University of Michigan opens for us, my hope is simple: that we will be ambitious enough to pursue excellence, yet humble enough to keep asking who our excellence is meant for. May we always remember that our greatest leadership will not be proven only by the problems that we solve, but by the dignities we protect in the process of solving them. When we are given a seat at the table, may we notice who is missing and use that opportunity not just to advance ourselves, but also to widen that table for others whose paths may have been harder than ours. And years from now, when people look back at the work of the Michigan students who fill this room, may they say not only that we achieved a great deal, but that we led with humility, and in doing so made it easier for countless others to rise. Thank you, and go Blue.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your inspiring words with us today. Our campus is home to thousands of stories. One in particular comes to mind when I consider the importance of our theme, humility. In 1893, a young woman named Alice Hamilton from Fort Wayne, Indiana, wanted to see the world and make her place in it. She had been homeschooled and was eager to help those in need. She decided to pursue medicine. As she explained, as a doctor, I could go anywhere I pleased, to far-off lands or to city slums, and be quite sure I could be of use anywhere. Alice was one of the first women on our campus to obtain a medical degree. She would go on to become the first woman appointed to the Harvard faculty and was a founding figure of occupational medicine in America. She arrived at her life's work with serious credentials. That work began in earnest in 1910, when the governor of Illinois appointed her to investigate whether industrial workers were being sickened by the trades they practiced. This was a time of lead, mercury, and carbon monoxide. The effects of many known toxins on the human body was then poorly understood. When she raised the question of toxicity with the American authorities, their response was swift and confident. American factories were perfectly safe. Hamilton did not accept that answer. She went to the homes and union halls of the workers themselves. She wanted to talk with people in their own surroundings where they have the courage to speak out what was on their minds. In doing so, she was practicing a form of epistemic humility, recognizing the limits of her own knowledge despite her substantial qualifications. What she found was a different world from the one factory owners had shown her. American factories were not, in fact, altogether safe. In at least one documented case, an owner had deliberately concealed a dangerous process from her during the factory inspection. A worker interviewed at home told her the truth. This knowledge, which ultimately changed American labor law, was issued from people who worked with their hands and whom no credentialed investigator had thought to ask. Hamilton's findings produced the first occupational disease laws in Illinois and eventually laid the groundwork for federal workplace safety regulation. Hamilton passed away in 1970 at the age of 101. Students, when you conclude your studies here, you will often be the most credentialed person in the room and facing hard problems. The problems worth your attention will require you to ask, whose experience are you missing? Whose knowledge has not been consulted? And whether the certainty you've earned is obscuring what you still need to learn. Those questions can be more difficult than any exam, but the leaders who ask them and mean it are the ones capable of profound impact. Celebrate today with the people who helped you get here. Then go, find the hard problems, make a profound impact, and live a long life. The world is waiting for exactly the kind of leader you are becoming. To all of you, congratulations. Once again, we are so grateful to those of you here to witness and support your students today. You may wonder about the criteria for inclusion in today's ceremony. To be invited to attend today's convocation by one's school, college, or campus, a student must obtain university honors for both winter 2025 and fall 2025 terms. Seniors who earn university honors for either of these terms are also invited to attend honors convocation. The university honors recognition is awarded to students who earn a 3.5 grade point average during a term while taking a minimum of 14 credit hours, 12 of which are graded credits. I will now introduce the deans or their representatives from the undergraduate schools and colleges in Ann Arbor. I ask that dean or representative and the university honor students from that school or college to please stand and be recognized if they are able. The order of introductions is the order of the founding of the schools and colleges. First, on behalf of Dean Rosario Ceballo and the university honors students from the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, honor students, please stand if you are able. Clinical Assistant Professor Jennifer Cullen and the University Honors students from the School of Dentistry. On behalf of Dean Vicki Ellenrod and the University Honors students from the College of Pharmacy. Associate Professor Joy Rode and the University Honors students from the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy. Dean Karen Tolley and the University Honors students from the College of Engineering. Dean Elizabeth Bermoji and the University Honors students from the Marcel Family School of Education. Associate Dean Kathy Shakespeare and the University Honors students from the Stephen M. Ross School of Business. Arthur F. Thurnow Professor Sarah Soderstrom and the University Honors students from the School for Environment and Sustainability. Associate Dean Kate Fitzpatrick Harnish and the University Honors students from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. On behalf of Dean Jonathan Massey and the University Honors students from the A. Alfred Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning. Associate Professor Aaron Kale and the University Honors students from the School of Nursing. On behalf of Interim Dean Linda D. Lisbeth and the University Honors students from the School of Public Health. On behalf of Dean Andrea Forte and the University Honors students from the School of Information. Dean Carlos Jackson and the University Honors students from the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design. Arthur F. Thurnau Professor Susan Brown, and the University Honors students from the School of Kinesiology. Lawrence Alexander, Chancellor of the Flint campus, and Gabriella Scarlata, Interim Chancellor of the Dearborn campus, will recognize and present the University Honors students from their respective campuses in the order of their founding. Chancellor Alexander.
Good afternoon. Will the University Honor students of the University of Michigan, Flint, please stand and be recognized? On behalf of the entire U of M Flint campus, I am proud to celebrate each of you for the excellence, discipline, and persistence that have earned you this distinction. We are truly proud of you and your accomplishments. At Michigan, we strive to be leaders in best, and true leadership is grounded in humility, curiosity, and empathy. Today is not just recognition of what you have done, it is a declaration of what is expected of you. You carry the responsibility to lead with integrity, to challenge what is unjust, and to leave every space better than you found it. So go forward to lead and to serve and to make your mark. Congratulations. Go Flint and go Blue.
Hello, everyone. I would like to invite the University Honor students from the University of Michigan, Dearborn, to stand and be recognized. On behalf of everyone on the Dearborn campus, I am honored to join you today and congratulate you on your outstanding achievements. Today's event recognizes all you have accomplished and who you are as students and as people. You have demonstrated incredible ambition, discipline, and integrity. You understand what it means to set high expectations, to work hard, and to align your goals with a commitment to your education, to your community, and of course, to yourself. Today represents an important milestone on your academic journey. But equally exciting is what it signals for tomorrow. The world you are preparing to enter is complex and ever-changing. It needs people who are thoughtful, adaptable, and guided by purpose. People who seek challenges and rise to meet them. People just like you. So, as we look toward the future, we are eager to see what you will accomplish next. Wherever your path leads, we will look on with continued pride. Congratulations again on this well-earned honor. Go Blue and go Dearborn.
Good afternoon. I'm Angela Dillard, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education and Interim Vice Provost for Access and Opportunity. In addition to university honors, the university recognizes superior academic achievement with two other awards this afternoon. The William J. Brandstrom Freshman Prize was created in 1960 by Mr. Brandstrom, an attorney and philanthropist of Fremont, Michigan, whose desire was to promote excellence in education. Through his generous gift, each year the University of Michigan is able to recognize and encourage first-year students who obtain a high level of academic achievement during their first semester. First-year students who rank in the top 5% of the school or college in which they are enrolled and earn 14 credits or more are recognized as winners of the William J. Branstrom Freshman Prize. Will first-year students designated as recipients of the William J. Branstrom Freshman Prize please stand if and as you are able. Congratulations, you may be seated. And now I would like to introduce you to the James B. Angel Scholars in attendance. We award this honor, named for the university's third president, to students with all A's recorded for 2 or more consecutive terms in which they carry at least 14 credit hours per term, 12 of which are graded credits. I would first like to ask our 2-term Angel Scholars seated in the audience to please rise if and as you are able. Congratulations, you may be seated. Today we are paying special tribute to those students who have completed 3 or more consecutive terms of all A's, and I invite all 3, 4, 5, and 6-term Angel Scholars to come forward and be greeted by President Grasso and Provost Macaulay. You will be escorted to the stage by our faculty marshals. now our special privilege to recognize the Angel Scholars with us today who has sustained the highest level of academic achievement for 7 or more terms. Our 7-term Angel Scholars are seated in the auditorium, and our 8 or more term scholars are seated on the stage. I ask that they come forward individually as their names are called to be greeted by President Grasso and Provost Macaulay. The first group of students have achieved 7 consecutive terms of all A's. Students will be escorted to the stage by our faculty marshals. Assistant Chief Marshal Stephen West will read the scholars' names.
Tomilade Akindjelu, Lydia Allig, William A., Peter Belkin, Andrea Buell, Pedro Bignotto Racchetti, Ethan Binns, Reagan Clark, Alexander Devine, Chaz Dunselman, Ellie Feldposh, Alyssa Fodale, Nora Gravgard, Olivia Guzman, Lana Haddad, Nikitha Hayday, Violet Horn, Waidian Ho, Clara Hummel, Madison Houston, Emma Johnson, Alexander Kaminsky, Aaron Klein, Yov Constantino, Cecilia Ledesma Herrera, Lindsay Lemieux, Maria Lopez Linares Perez, Elliot Measle, Sophia Magid, Elena Nestle, Tyler Nuremberg, Dev Patel, Matthew Peel, Sarah Plant, Maggie Robbins, Brooklyn Rocho, Claire Rock, Makiba Sengupta, Evan Shee, Catherine Shee, Zoe Julianne Trowell, Britt Van Antwerp, Cassandra Vargas, Walling Nikhil, Hannah Willingham, Madeline Wren, Lindsay Zausmer. The next group of students have achieved 8 consecutive terms of all A's. Ian Rosenberg, Jonathan McDevitt Jr., and more to come. Micah Helzerman. Anton Sviatoslav Green.
Congratulations again to all of the Angel Scholars on this well-earned honor. I now have the pleasure of introducing Gabriel Paredes and Ethan Swanson, both seniors from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, who will perform This Is the Moment.
This is the moment, this is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment, this is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming, scheming, and screaming become one. This is the day, see it sparkle and shine, when all I've lived for becomes mine. For all these years I faced the world alone, and now the time has come to prove to them I've made it on my own. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckoned, I never reckoned second best. I won't look down, I must not fall. This is the moment, the sweetest moment of them all. This is the moment, damn all the odds. This day or never, I'll sit forever with the gods. When I look back, I will always recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the greatest moment of them all.
Wow, that was incredible. On behalf of all of us here today, to Gabrielle Paredes and Ethan Swanson, both seniors in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, thank you so much. We are very pleased to give special recognition to two students this afternoon. Each has achieved great academic success and has coupled it with leadership and service that make important contributions to society. Rhodes Scholarships are awarded annually to 104 outstanding students from around the world. The scholarships recognize intellectual achievement, character, leadership, and commitment to service. The scholars are people who have a vision of how the world could be better and the energy to make a difference, whatever their sphere of interest. The scholarship supports study at the University of Oxford. I would like to invite Yumna Dagher, who has been selected as a Rhodes Scholar, to stand. Yumna is a recent graduate of the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, where she majored in English and the environment. As a Rhodes Scholar, she will pursue graduate degrees at the University of Oxford in Nature, Society, and Environmental Governance in Visual, Material, and Museum Anthropology. She hopes to work at the intersection of cultural, cooperative economics, and sustainable food systems, building on her leadership in campus sustainability initiatives, community-engaged farming, and the arts. Dagher's long-term interests include developing creative and collaborative approaches to environmental stewardship while continuing her artistic practice as a printmaker, cartoonist, and poet. Congratulations, Yumna. As noted in your program, the university's Wallenberg Fellowship was established in 2013. It honors Raoul Wallenberg, one of our most distinguished graduates. Mr. Wallenberg brought intellectual acuity and great curiosity about the world to his studies in architecture. A native of Sweden, he was in that country's diplomatic service during World War II. Stationed in Budapest, he worked quietly and effectively to coordinate the rescue of thousands of Jews in Hungary by issuing protective passports and sheltering them in buildings he had designated as Swedish territory. The Wallenberg Fellowship provides a graduating senior with the opportunity to learn about and contribute to society through an independent project anywhere in the world. I'd like to invite Lucas Nepomuceno, this year's recipient of the fellowship, to stand. Lucas is a senior in Performing Arts Technology in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. His project, Critical Listening, Music and Access in Progressive Movements of the Philippines, explores how the movement uses music to empower communities while navigating gaps in access to technology. Through travel to urban and rural areas of the Philippines, he plans to deepen his understanding of the role of artistic practice within the movement. Nepomuceno envisions the project culminating in a collaborative album created with local musicians. Thank you and congratulations. In 1988, the Board of Regents established a series of professorships to recognize outstanding contributions to undergraduate education. Named after Arthur F. Thurnow, a student at Michigan from 1902 to 1904, this series of professorships is supported through a trust fund he left to the university. Mr. Thurnow wanted to return to the University of Michigan something of the value he gained from being an undergraduate here. In that spirit, the Thurnow Professorship Program is designed to honor tenured faculty whose commitment to and investment in undergraduate teaching has had a demonstrable impact on the intellectual development of our students. We are delighted to introduce this year's Thurnow Professorship recipients who've joined us today. Megan A. Duffy, the Susan S. Killam Collegiate Professor of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. Cindy Finelli, the David C. Munson Jr. Collegiate Professor of Engineering, Professor of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science in the College of Engineering, and Professor of Education in the Marcel Family School of Education. Saul S. Hart, Professor of Communication and Media in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, and Professor of the Program in the Environment in the School for Environment and Sustainability and College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, and Faculty Associate Research Center for Group Dynamics in the Institute for Social Research. Nancy Ambrose King, Professor of Music in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. And Thomas A. Schwartz, Associate Chair, Department of Physics, and Professor of Physics in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. It is now my pleasure to introduce Associate Dean for Humanities and Arthur F. Thurnow Professor, Arthur Verhoot, a professor of papyrology and Greek in the Department of Classical Studies. His work explores the archaeologies of writing in ancient Egyptian villages, and he's been part of Michigan's faculty since 2001. Please join me in welcoming Professor Arthur Verhoot.
Thank you, Provost Macaulay, for the introduction, and thank you all for the opportunity to be present with you today. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and the best. I wrote these not knowing that there would be a game going on. Knowing these famous and for us all on this campus ubiquitous words, I hope that you understand my surprise that I was asked to speak to you about this year's theme, Lead with Humility. You will agree, I hope, that Michigan's fight song does not seem to fit the bill for this theme. There is not a grain of humility in those words. We sing the leaders and best, period, not the leaders and best, we think so. So, will this then be the end of my remarks today? Well, no. Thank you. I think that there is a way forward out of this. Please note that there is a plural involved. It's leaders and best, not just one leader and best. And in my view, Michigan becomes leaders and best exactly if we all strive to lead with humility. And with all, I mean all. We each have roles to play in this institution where we can lead with humility. Even when we are not the ones making the actual final decisions in the room, all of us can still lead with humility. Yes, university administrators, as gathered here behind me, need to lead with humility. Faculty need to lead and teach with humility. But you students also have a responsibility to lead with humility in your own interactions. And I will be happy to talk to parents and family members on the balcony about their role too during the reception. So please don't go anywhere, I'll get to you. So let's go over what leading with humility, in my view, entails. And I will grant immediately, as you've heard several other perspectives, that there will be other aspects that are important too. But I hope that you will treat my remarks as a conversation starter rather than the final answer of what leading with humility means and why it is so important. Leading with humility is hard work, and it's not easy. It requires constantly reminding ourselves that we are not more special. We are different, but we're not special. We all will be in professional spaces where things will come easy to us because we are the specialists in the room. People will look to us for leadership. At each of these moments, we need to remind ourselves to step back, take a deep breath, and consider whether we are not missing anything. Missing viewpoints that are important for the issue at hand. Missing people that our actions will impact. Missing procedural steps that may endanger the outcome that is best. Leading with humility requires focusing not on our strengths, but on our weaknesses. We also shouldn't hide our weaknesses, but step into them. If we know what our weaknesses are, we are able to not only work on those, but also, and more importantly, to reach out to people around us who are strong in the areas where we are not. And together, we can then build a coalition of strengths. Leading with humility requires being present and being aware of who is, but more importantly, who is not at a table with you. And as we are sitting at our table, we should adhere to the principle of radical welcome. The difference between welcome and radical welcome is that with welcome, we invite people, but require them to use our utensils and eat our food. Radical welcome is that we invite people to contribute their own food, their own utensils, which we will then use to mix with our own food and utensils to really create a new meal. I'm convinced that by asking for input from all the people at the table and truly engaging with that, we will reach better outcomes for all involved. Leading with humility requires to not take yourself too seriously, and I'm very good at that. My background as a first-generation college student, a first-generation graduate student, a first-generation professor, and now a first-generation associate dean, it never stops. It all ensures that I'm continually asking what I am doing so at this moment as well. And I've noticed that it is often a position of strength. So, if as a leader you always take yourself seriously, I would urge you to at least once break the mold and do something silly. My strong belief that if we all do our job and lead with humility, Michigan will truly be leaders and best. Let's lead with humility. Go Blue. It's now my really great pleasure to introduce the president of our university, Dr. Domenico Grasso.
Thank you, Professor Verhoot. I do want to start, before I start my remarks, to tell you all that Michigan is up by 19 over Tennessee with just a few minutes in the first half. I want to join in congratulating our distinguished students and Thurno professors. Today is a powerful display of academic excellence that defines Michigan. I want to add athletic excellence as well. There is one more distinguished group in the auditorium that merits congratulations: the families and friends of these accomplished students. No one excels at Michigan in a vacuum, not even the president. So let's give our families and friends a big round of applause. We all need encouragement, feedback, and love of those closest to us to truly succeed. I want to thank our families for pairing and supporting your sons and daughters. Because of you, they came to Michigan as diamonds, and we added a polish. I wish I were standing before you today as a former honors student, but I was more of a late bloomer. And I really took the Latin aphorism, festina lente, make haste slowly, literally. The real Michigan honors distinction in our family belongs to my wife, Susan, who excelled as a student here at Michigan and once sat where you are today. I do know enough to surround myself with exceptional people like her and all of you. We've heard a lot today about leading with humility, which presents an outstanding challenge for our best and brightest students in Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and Flint. Humility is an essential and worthy skill to a point. You are all extraordinary students who excel academically. I often say it's hard to get into Michigan, and it's hard to get out of Michigan. Our professors challenge you, and you repeatedly rise to that challenge. As you continue your studies and move on to your careers, people will look to you for expertise. Others will want to be assured that they are in good hands as you lead. That's what happens when you have a Michigan degree. Never call into question your outstanding capabilities. Instead, use them in ways that lift up those around you. I learned as an Army officer that leadership demands both confidence and care. Soldiers will not follow you into battle if you are indecisive. Yet they must trust that every decision is thoughtful, well-considered, and grounded in their well-being. True leaders understand that their role serves a purpose greater than themselves. They delegate authority, share success, but never shrink from responsibility. As commanders often say, it's mission first, but people always. Or in the words of one of our most renowned coaches, Bo Schembechler, the team, the team, the team. And there is no I in the team. The University of Michigan has many notable alumni who have used their talents and skills and humility to help change the world with their leadership. One of our most notable graduates is Gerald R. Ford, who graduated with a BA in economics in 1935. Nearly 40 years later, as Vice President of the United States, he was thrust into the American presidency when Richard Nixon resigned in disgrace. President Ford worked to pull the country back from a constitutional crisis that was unlike anything the nation had seen since the Civil War. He never bragged about his responsibilities or his power, and was the first to acknowledge that the people did not elect him as president. Gerald Ford led with quiet dignity and deep, deep humility, and he did so grounded in a Michigan education. While I am not sure if he was an honor student, and I don't think he was, he did end up at Yale Law School. However, more importantly, he requested that the military bands, when he entered the room as president, played Hail to the Victors in place of Hail to the Chief at official events, which really tells me he was a very, very smart man. You can take the Wolverine out of Michigan, but you can never take the Michigan out of a Wolverine. We are nearing the end of our program, and leading with humility means you know when you are the final speaker. So I want to make sure that you have time to celebrate with your family and friends, and please know how proud we are of you and how much we expect of you going forward. Society and the world looks to Michigan for ideas, solutions, and extraordinary talent like you. Embrace the words of C.S. Lewis, who said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less." We are excited to see how you will make a thoughtful Michigan difference. Congratulations, and again, forever go blue!
That was awesome. Thank you, President Grasso. As we close the formal program today, it's my pleasure to invite you to join our honorees for an outdoor reception on Ingalls Mall in between Hill Auditorium and the Michigan League. Commemorative tack pins are available for the scholars we're honoring today. For those who have not already received a pin, they will be distributed at the reception following the ceremony. Thank you for being present to share this important occasion. It's wonderful to come together to recognize the accomplishments of our students in every field of inquiry and to honor their teachers. We salute all of their achievements. I want to give special thanks to the students and faculty from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance for their outstanding performances. And I'm going to call them out: Associate Professor Nicole Keller, University Organist; Associate Professor Tiffany Eng, University Carolinist; Jemiah Hudson, soloist; Gabrielle Paredes, soloist; David Stoltz, organist; and Ethan Swanson, pianist. Thank you again. We ask that the audience remain at their seats until the recessional march of the stage party has been completed. Please now stand as you are able and sing with us as we close with the university's alma mater, the yellow and blue. You'll find the words printed at the back of your program. Thank you for being here, and go blue.